Hey, greetings, salutations. Yeah. Hey, fella. Greetings, salutations. mm. Mm. The love boat. Exit. Put in. Mm. Greetings, salutations, nephew of mine. Greetings. How you all doing? Come on in. Come on in. What is he looking for? What is he looking for? How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Greetings and salutations. Welcome. Welcome to Conversations with TNathan. I guess you know who I am. I guess you know what this is. So, I'm TNathan with my back to you right now, and we're about to get to the conversation. Did you get my text? No. When? You text me? When you text me? Oh, I guess because I haven't opened. I'll be on time for your live tonight, and I'm already at home relaxing. Oh, just got it. You text me at 9:36. Yeah, I was. You know what I was doing? I got off class. I got out of class, and then I proceeded to. Got out of class, and then I proceeded to catch up and read on some international law, and to have a discussion tonight. Yeah, what's up, Ray? What's up, Timmy? Greetings. Yes, I'm on YouTube. I think. Am I on YouTube? I should be on YouTube. Jay, go check out and see if a YouTube stream up. Go check out and see if the YouTube stream is up, Jay. All right. All right. Let me know if the YouTube stream is up. It's supposed to be up. It says it's up. I am supposed to be up everywhere. Uh, so let me know, Jay. Greetings and salutations. How is everyone doing tonight? Is everybody all right? You know what we're going to get into. Yeah, you can tell by the board below me. You can tell by the board below me. And we're going to talk, right? Because I realized how many people don't have um, the ability to understand basic geopolitics. Hello from Ocean City, Washington. What's up, Gracie? Gracie. All right. Jay is supposed to be going to tell me if I am up and running on YouTube. And I guess YouTube is good. Now, I'm supposed to be able to see something that I'm not seeing yet. All right. Don't know where it's at. But if you have a question on YouTube, yeah, I guess I need to open up another window because it's supposed to be open, but it's not. So if I miss your question on YouTube, I'll respond to them later. All right, Chief Security's here. Good, good. YouTube is good. All right, let me clear this out, and then we can get started. So if you see here, and before I segue into this intelligence report, um, how is it? Let me get this right. And somebody stop me if I'm wrong. How is it that people are more concerned that Beyonce bought Jay Z out at her concert in Paris than they're concerned that the United States engaged in the bombing of a foreign country that we were not even in an aggressive posture with? Anybody, just take it. And I mean a specific kind of people. I do, because it's really funny to me that these are the same people who are going to complain about a system not doing anything for them or a corrupt system. But I have watched you dedicate more of your bandwidth to Beyonce's concert in Paris than to geopolitics that could affect the lives of, I don't know, maybe you don't have friends or family that serve in the military. My bad. Maybe that's just an oversight on my part. My bad. I get it. I get it. That's the, yeah, that's what you all want to be obsessed with. We're the grown-ups in the room are going to move on. Not saying you can't do both, I guess, but yeah, I don't even know there was a concept. Listen, I do top searches. I just be curious on what the most searched item is, or what the most talked about social media issue is, because I just knew the top social media search for Monday. I just knew it was going to be Iran, and I thought people would look up information on Iran, like, and things like that. No, not at all. It wasn't even in the top five. Yeah. What's up? What's up, A? Yeah, it wasn't even the top five. So moving right along, their priorities are not where they should be. Like I say, and I understand people have fun. We have fun, but I started to realize. And congratulations in New York. Congratulations to New York, because the Democratic primary did not elect Andrew Cuomo. Can we give it a hand? Let's give up all my people in New York. I just think it's so interesting that New York, the city of migrants, one of the largest migrant population in the country, has its first Democratic socialist that won the Democratic primary. A young 33-year-old Democratic socialist. Um, and I know it's not. I'm calling it. Don't I'm calling it. I'm calling it at this point. I looked at the result, and I know. Don't tell me that New York has a ranked system. I know all that, and I looked at the results, and I calculated that he will be the Democratic nominee for governor. I mean, for maybe governor one day, but for mayor in New York, and he should handily beat. Um, he should handily beat Eric. I mean, Adams. Yeah, former. I remember when Eric Adams was running, and everybody was just so, "Oh, TNathan, are you?" No, but he's a black man. He's not. He's a former. He's a cop that happens to be a former. I told people he was a former Republican. I know. They say, well, yeah. I say he's a former Republican. I say he's still a Republican light. You all listen to him? And I was talking about the policies and institution and all that. Yeah. And I was having a conversation with someone today, and they couldn't stand the idea of Monahan winning, right? And they would say, "Oh, he's going to raise taxes, and the tax base is going to leave, and crime is going to overrun the city." I say, "Could you be a little more microaggressively racist?" Because obviously you're saying that. Why? New York already pays some of the highest taxes in the country. New York's tax base is already the highest tax base in the country, I believe. One of the outside of Hawaii. And you mean to tell me you think that's going to drive away the rich in New York? That's what you all are thinking. That's y'all's argument. Yeah. And then the argument around crime, where does that based in? They say, well, he's never managed anything. I love this part. He's never done anything in government and managed the government. I say, number one, he's an assemblyman. He is an assemblyman in New York. He is an assemblyman. He has more experience than Donald Trump. When Donald Trump ran for office, I don't want to hear a maggot talk to me about experience of any public office holder. Yes, I can. If you can put a 22-year-old inside in control of our T response teams, yeah, we can put a 33-year-old. We can watch a 33-year-old social democrat take the reins of the largest city in our country. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it because it just makes maggots mad. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what the young man is going to be capable of, but I do know that he galvanized young voters, and the Democrat. I'm gonna tell you who doesn't like it either: the establishment of the Democratic Party. The established Democratic Party doesn't like it. They do not like the fact that he's going to be the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York. Yes, Clyburn. If you know me, you know I hate James Clyburn too. He's South Carolina representative. That is the reason that Bernie Sanders couldn't get the election nomination because Joe Biden won the black vote in the primary. The only primary he won before that was zero. And they went through South Carolina, and Bernie was just burning up. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search because it primarily directs people off the platform. This is in line with the For You feed standards. Listen, I gotta take a picture of this. I have got to take this telling me that my live runs people off the platform. This is wild. I have got to take a picture. I am going to make a video on this. Yeah. Okay, let's try one without the camera on. I mean, with lightning on. Yeah, this is hilarious. I want to see hilarious. Read this again. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it primarily directs people off the platform. This is in line with our For You page eligibility standards under our community guidelines. Okay. And do I get to appeal? I don't even get an appeal. They just say my live runs people off of the platform. No, that is funny as hell. Well, it's on YouTube. Oh, you saw it on? Yeah, that's right. You will get to see it come up on YouTube. Yeah, it came up on YouTube too because the YouTube is this screen. When you told me to go check YouTube 5 minutes ago, well, yeah, but uh, you were running everyone away. Yeah, right, right. I'm running people away to other platforms. That is wild to me. All right, but in accordance with, I can get one of these every night. I just had to get that one because that was hilarious to me. That was hilarious. I'm running the people away from the platform that I'm on speaking because I asked Jay to check out YouTube. Okay, well, I guess if I keep saying YouTube, I might even get my account blocked. Evidently not. I don't see nobody running. But we won't get any more people because, of course, they're restricting it from the For You feed. So I don't. No one will know I'm live unless you have your notifications turned on. Um, uh, yeah, right. But anyway, so I just think it's funny. I do think that is funny. So congratulations, New York. Hopefully, these young Democrats, young progressives that are running under the Democratic big tent part, as a Democratic socialist. I I do think it's going to be backlash from the Democratic establishment and the Republicans, and I do white liberals even. I guarantee you, yeah, the establishment of Democrats will go out and vote for Eric Adams again before they vote for this young man because the idea of democratic socialists scares them to death. It is, but maybe this is the start of the AOC crowd and young people getting motivated to get into politics and to change the establishment. So, like I said, I am. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Oh, oh, you sent me a picture of it. Oh, that's on YouTube. Oh, that's on TikTok. No, that's on YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just got your picture. But yeah, big ups. Let's follow it and see where it leads to. Because we sure can't we're sure not dependent on the people who say they're resting because they're not even talking about this. I went through. Before I went live, I went through a couple of the standard lives that people that are resting are having, and they're not talking about this victory at all. I don't even think they know because I'm telling you, I'm convinced. My Oh, hold on, that's here. Oh, you saying really? That's how it. I don't know why it looks like that. I have I have great connection. I have Google Fiber 3 gigs. I mean, is anybody else getting is anybody else getting a messed up picture? Is anybody else? Good evening, Robert. Is anybody? How's the visuals over here? Are the visuals over here all right? Or I don't know. Maybe it looks good. All right, it looks good. Just making sure. All right, all right. I guess it's. I was wondering if my connection was, was down. I was like, dang, I have a dedicated 3G for this. So I have Google Fiber too. Yeah, yeah, Google Fiber. I'm advertising Google Fiber. Yay, big ups. Yeah, Google Fiber is good. And like I said, it's dedicated. I have Google Fiber just for my studio here because I use that much bandwidth running constantly on news. Yes, I nobody has my access to the Google Fiber network here except me. They got AT&T. I give them AT&T. Yeah. Google Fiber is um yeah, if they did sponsor me, they should sponsor me and pay the bill. But it is what it is. I hear the big crumb snatcher. Yeah. He hit he hit. Ah, yes. Um see, hold on, let me see your image. I'm here. What's up, Will Jones? I see it. This is the photo on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Will? I see you over there. I'm sorry I can't. I don't know why I can't. I got to figure it out. I can't really do it right now. Probably could. Probably could figure it out right now. But I don't want YouTube to go down right now. GCPR, are we good? Y'all remind me. What's up, Robert? I see you. So let's talk about this. So CNN earlier today got a leaked intelligence report that said the strike on the three facilities in Iran did not have the impact that they wanted. And you remember we talked about this. We talked about this when the strike was going down. How does this how does this really set back the uranium enrichment program of um how does it set it back? How does it set it back? Because I told you all, it's easy to once you get uranium enriched, you can put it in a lead lined box and transport it. And we're only talking about a couple of hundred kilograms here. We spent all this money dropping bombs. But I told you we only dropped those bombs because we wanted to drop those bombs to see how they would react. But without boots on the ground or intel on the ground to actually substantiate your claim, everything is just a claim. And I told you all about the satellite pictures they sent. Okay, I see a satellite picture of an area with 3 craters and other craters at the other facilities. Yes, I see that. What's under it? How do I know that what you say is under there? And how do I know that you did penetrate enough to even affect that level? Because this is 300 feet underground. And while I'm sure I saw all of the things about the bomb, I know the bomb penetrates to like about 210 to 225 and then detonates, right? So shock waves, all that take into account, and they put 14 of them in these 3 facilities. Got you. I got you. But, and so the intel is saying that, what's up, Raven? The intel says that, hey, we might have set them back only a few months. A few months. But here's the thing, and I want to know if you all remember this. So when Donald Trump was president, in 2018 May to be exact, because I love being exact. In May of 2018, Donald Trump withdrew from the JPCOA. Y'all remember I talked about that last night. Donald Trump withdrew from the JPCOA, and they were the ones that Barack Obama put in place, and the nuclear program in Israel. I mean, in Israel, There's no nuclear program in Israel. They just have nuclear bombs. Uh, the nuclear enrichment program in Iran had been carteled and monitored, right? So Donald Trump comes to office. His thing is we're not going to be part of the JPCOA anymore. That was in 2018. 2018. And Benjamin Netanyahu had been talking about that Iran was always 2 weeks away from enriching enough uranium to have a nuclear device, a bomb. 90% enrichment. Yeah. You know how I know Iran does not have a nuclear weapon? You know how I am 100% sure Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. Understand, and I know they're not developing one. Well, they wasn't developing one before, but I don't know. All bets are off going forward. How do I know they wasn't even developing one since 2018 when we left the JPCO Accords, COA Accords? Well, JPCO Accords, because the A stands for Accord, so I don't want to say Accord. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm funny like that. So you know how I know they don't have a nuclear device? I know they were not working on one because Israel still existed. That would probably get my live shut down. Israel still existed. The Iran has been able to enrich uranium since 2018, and they haven't produced a nuclear weapon and did what Israel said they were always 2 weeks away from doing. Think about that. Everybody's talking, and this is what I'll be listening to when I be listening to people talk about geopolitics that don't have a clue of the history of geopolitics. And I was like, yeah, Israel has not been hit with a nuclear device. That's what they said, right? They said that Iran, the number one sponsor of terrorism in the world, right, that they were interested in wiping Israel off the map. So that's why they were developing a nuclear device. Well, they have had 7 unimpeded years of having the ability to enrich uranium to the level where they could have a nuclear device. No monitoring. No monitoring, because like I said, we left the JPCOA. So why haven't they done it yet? I'll wait. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I really would like some of those people that really don't know anything about geopolitics that be talking about it to come answer these questions. I really would, but I know it wouldn't work out well because they would say something so stupid, and I don't have the bandwidth for it. Yeah, you're supposed to be my lawyer. You're supposed to be always working on that anyway. You're supposed to be just sending the random emails saying, "Hey, what you doing?" Listen, I just be wanting the people to answer that. I just be hearing these people talk that you all listen to in lives, and I be like, yeah, anybody just gonna mention that Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this for 33 years, and Iran had 7 to 8 years of uninterrupted processing without having to report under the accords, and they still have not. Listen, if they were just 2 weeks before in 2012, then 2018 when you leave the JCPO they should have produced multiple. They listen. This, and we know, what do we also know? We know that Iran has the ability to, they have weapons that can deliver the payload from them that far, all the way to Tel Aviv. And I'm not laughing because I want to see this. I'm laughing because the gullibility of people when they say stuff like this. But all bets are off now. All bets are off. You bombed them, and they did not take any. And it's easy for people to say, "Well, they're the state sponsor of terrorism." You think that's gonna? You think? And listen to people that don't really understand the history. How many people know why hostages were taken in 1978 in Iran in the first place? Anybody actually know why the Iranian hostage crisis actually took place? And because we were talking about, oh, they say death to America. Why do they say that though? Have been saying that Iran has had weapons like that for years. Right, right, and they haven't intercepted one nuclear. You mean you? They didn't put a warhead on a hypersonic missile and deliver it to Tel Aviv because you listen. If they had a nuclear device, you want to know it. People don't understand nuclear devices do not have to hit the ground to be activated. You could detonate it above the Iron Dome and it's over for whatever. I know, I know. Stop, TNathan, stop. It's like, stop. But does anybody know why the Iranian hostage crisis happened in the first place? Anybody? Why they were saying death to America? I think it's because people don't know who the Shah of Iran was. I don't think they. Uh, BB is trying to stay out of prison. And what keeps him. Listen, no, and he's also trying to distract people from the fact, well, the parents and relatives of hostages that are still in Gaza from the fact that they keep killing them, that the Israelis keep killing them. Yeah, he's trying to distract from that fact also. Yeah, we were holding their king hostage. Actually, no. Actually, they didn't want the Shah of Iran. We popped up the Shah of Iran for 28 years, right? And he was a despot, and he was actually oppressing his own people, right? But the United States was behind him because any despot that swallows the glizzy of the United States is all good with the United States, regardless of the people that don't want him. Yes, they ran the Shah of Iran out of Iran, and that's was the whole point of the like BP oil. Give you even before we get to that. BP oil was propping up the Shah of Iran, and the Shah of Iran was oppressing his people. So the people called for an audit of BP oil to make sure they wasn't exploiting the people of Iran. BP oil, a company that's in your country at your bequest, I mean at your hospitality, told them no. The company that is drilling oil in your country tells you no, we're not letting you audit our drilling of oil in your country, and the United States is going to back us, and your Shah is going to back us, and that's how it happened. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people just think they just didn't have anything better to do than to take Americans hostage at an embassy. Like people just like, oh, today I think we'll go to the American embassy and just take it hostage because happy people take hostages. It always comes back to oil. It always comes back to oil in the Middle East. It always comes back to oil. And it always comes back to oil in a manner that European and American companies think that they have the right to dictate law and leadership to people in another country that they are taking they're taking their oil from or any resources. Look at Africa, same way. Same way. So that's the history, a little history behind why Iran has such a hatred of American government because the American government was complicit in the oppression of the Iranian people under the Shah of Iran. Yeah, and I know it's so funny that I watch stories and they try to make the Shah of Iran out to be this great, oh, he was just, he's Americanized puppet. And America loves Americanized puppets, even if the people that they put them in charge of are suffering. So if you're going to talk to me about the situation in Iran, I need you to know as much as I know about the history of what has happened since the 1970s in Iran. And we can go back further than that actually, because he was in power since the 54, I believe 54. I have to look it up, but I know he was in power like 28 years before he was deposed, and yeah, he was not a good guy. He was not a good guy. Just like we pop up these petty dictators in South American countries and Central American countries, and then complain when the people are fleeing from those countries because you propped up a dictator that is a threat to human rights violations. And so when they show up here, because you said, send us your tired, your poor, and your downtrodden, those longing to breathe free, and I will give them free. When they show up here, if they're not white, you say you didn't mean it. You didn't mean it when they show up and they're not white or they're not rich. Because we got a platinum card. We have a platinum immigration card for $5 million. You too can skip to the head of the line. It is it is so funny. Your mind is still trapped that remembers everything. Gracie. I tell you, I tell people, and I am fortunate. I do realize I have a eidetic memory. I always have, and I've always used it in the same manner. Right? I can remember it because it's not photographic, but I really prefer have my memory because it allows me to connect dots. People with photographic memories, they might just give you the facts, but they don't have the intellect to process the facts and connect the dots. I love eidetic memory because I connect the dots all the time. I will read something and I will say, "Hey, this reminds me of this, and this happened. I wonder how they're connected," and then I will start processing them. And then people will be calling me and be like, "Did you see my text?" And I was like, "Oh no, not at that time." And that's why I have to take Sunday for a reading day because my mind won't let me do anything else unless something comes up or unless certain people call me and I figure they need, yeah, and that's it. So that's how we get to this point. That's how we got to this point. And a lot of Americans don't understand that. So they look at people that say these things like they just hate America. And technically, it was more of a frustration than it was. It was like, hey, and then think about it. If somebody oppressed you to the point that they were killing your children, and then they were being propped up by another person, you're not only mad at that person, you're mad at the person that was propping it up. And that's what I mean when I say the Middle East is um, the fertile ground for chickens coming home to roost, because the United States does everything it can to keep the Middle East destabilized. Going back to 1948, that's what the creation of Israel. They knew that Israel's very existence on the land that belonged to the Palestinians, that they laid claim to, that they knew that would destabilize the Middle East. Going back to it's so interesting, the 12-day war they talk about, right? That they will. Donald Trump is I gotta say, his branding and marketing is phenomenal to watch. It's phenomenal to watch, but it's such ignorance that people follow it is astonishing also. Because he just wants to rebrand this exchange that actually lasted, it was not a 12-day war, because I'll make an argument that Israel and Iran had been at war since those first missiles were fired by Israel in October of last year, right? I can make that argument, but I digress. But of course, we're going to call it the 12-day war because in 1967 there was a 6-day war, and I just thought it was funny that we want to brand it that way because he has to brand it, and then he went to the NATO summit. I thought it was interesting that the day before the NATO summit, that Russia launched one of its largest barrages of missile attacks on the Ukraine before. But I tell you, I'm waiting for NATO to get to I'm waiting for Europe to get to the point where they realize they don't need the United States. That's what the illusion of the illusion of the alliance of the United States is wearing thin under this presidency. It is wearing thin under this presidency because at the end of the day, the EU exists. The EU exists. That didn't exist at the formation of NATO. So the European Union exists. So if they're not going to fight each other, and I'm sorry. I think the EU under a European leadership under NATO could handle Russia easily. Hmm. Easily. They can handle Russia. I think the only fear is that and I say this because we live in the upside down portion of the Twilight Zone, is that Donald Trump would support Russia. But barring that, I think, yeah, I just think, barring that, I think, I know that especially under the leadership of Germany, people don't realize Germany and Turkey, under the leadership of Germany and Turkey, they could handle Russia with no problems. No problems. But it's the illusion that the United States, and don't get me wrong, do not take it away from me, that we still have the most advanced and powerful military on the planet. It is one of the things that keep people from, and then we are also protected by the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. Nobody's just going to come over here and run roughshod in a war. Now you might shoot some intercontinental ballistic missiles. We'll deal with the fallout of that. But if you're not going to invade our country like that. But Europe can handle Russia. If Europe got loose and really went to the aid of the Ukrainians and sent troops, they would beat Russia back within months. They would beat Russia across the border in months. Well, Trump is made for realization for Europe quickly. Exactly. And I know people think that, they look at certain countries, but Russia, I'm more concerned about India, Pakistan. I'm more concerned about them going nuclear. I'm more concerned now that Iran will find motivation to do what Israel fears, because for years they have not. And you just blatantly, the United States showed their hand that they would blatantly attack Iran on behalf of Israel. So if you push a wounded animal into a corner, I guess we know how the rest of it goes, right? If you push a wounded animal into a corner, we know how the rest of that goes. And I think we haven't seen the Ayatollah Khamenei, the Shah of Iran, I mean the present supreme leader, in public for a reason. I really do. I really do. The U.S. does more positive propaganda for Russia than they do always saying they're as power. So, right, Shiva, 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 goddess of destruction. The goddess of destruction. What made you bring Shiva up? Just curious. Yeah, just curious. It's fitting, but yeah, I'm more interested in that. I'm more interested in um I'm more interested in North Korea using a nuclear device than I am the supreme leader. Yeah, they do. They do. What's odd is hearing some Iranians say this is a good thing. They think U.S. will overthrow a regime. That's not odd either. That's not odd because you have a lot of the Iranians that are still alive, amid quietly after the Shah of Iran and their families actually benefited from the Shah and the United States. Yeah, it's not strange for me to hear that. They're not as vocal. Don't get me wrong. I still think Iran's government is oppressive, but I also don't think the United States has the moral high ground to go around the world telling people anything about oppressive regimes until they straighten out their own oppressive regime. Okay, okay, I see you, pirate. I don't think we have the moral high ground to do that. I don't. When we live in a country that oppresses black and brown people on a regular basis, and we got the nerve to go to another oppressive country and say, "Hey, you're human rights violations, yada yada yada," and they look at you and be like, "Hey, pot, my name is Kettle." That's basically it. So and then I don't think we have the religious high ground to go around telling people what religion they serve. My philosophy is leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. But if you want to start some, I want to end it. That's my philosophy. I do. And I just believe that Americans who are not even geopolitically aware enough to have conversations are always telling people in foreign countries how to live. You understand the Iranian society descends from the Persians that were thousands of years old before Europeans even discovered fire? All those are ancient civilizations, the fallout of ancient civilizations in that region. The Babylonians in Iran that once controlled that area. Speaking of India, we could talk about the great civilizations of the Isthmus River, the Yellow River. We could talk about all those. China, all these civilizations were old when Europeans first learned how to skin animals and wear and use fire to cook with. Yeah, and I am not even being, I am not even being exaggeratory when I say that. You can study the history for yourself, right? When you look at ancient civilizations, the top 10 ancient civilizations, Europe's not in there. America is not even America. The government is not a comparison. You're right, but America's culture prior to colonization is a good comparison because you know the Incas, the Aztecs, and the Mayans. Yeah, they have old civilizations also, right? But yeah, the democracy that was created in Greece and sprung forth towards the world is a relatively new form of government also. Capitalism wedded to it is exclusively new. You called, sir? Greetings, salutations. Yeah. I'm just giving a geopolitical background on how we got to where we are. Because, like I say, when you all go to these lives, I want you to bring some. Because I'm not loud in these lives because you know I cuss and I laugh at stupid people. I would love for you all to ask some of these questions in these lives where people have and say, well, how did we get here? I just want somebody to tell me, how do we get here? To ask them, have you heard of the JPCOA? Because I hear these people talking, and I'm like, and don't get me wrong, I think every country involved in this, the Americans, the Israelis, and the Iranians, are just lesser forms of evil. I do government wise, not the people, but the governments. They all lies. They all lie. The Iranians are trying to save face to their people, so they say things that I don't know are true. I don't know if anything either one of the leaders of these countries say is true. And if I had to rank them, Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu are the worst liars on the planet. And then the supreme leader, the supreme leader's motivation is to keep his country intact in under the regime that they have. So, but they're also all trying to save face at the expense of their citizens. I'm so tired. This world and its BS is so damn tiring. I'm gonna have to call you and talk to you later, Chief Security. I'm gonna have to call you and talk to you later. I'm not allowed in lives either because of the first two is I'm blocked. And I'm just saying, and I'm gonna say this because maybe I'm the cause of this because I'm always talking about the ramifications of what is happening. But let's not lose sight of something, right? Let's not lose sight of the fact that we have the capability to be beautiful. We have the capability. It's just that those of us, we must understand we have to unite against our oppressors and we have to eliminate them. We have to overthrow them. Before we can get to that place where we are, Fanlue Hamer said, none of us are free until all of us are free. Until we can get to that place where we start to embrace that to the point that we realize that she wasn't talking about we're just going to talk our way out of oppression. She doesn't mean that, you know, you're not going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, but I don't want us to lose sight and become so despondent over the condition. Because, especially, look at it this way: in spite of everything that has been thrown at us, that we still are here. So we're here for a purpose. We are here for a purpose. I just need to teach people that we need to start throwing everything that is thrown at us back where it's coming from by any means necessary. I guess I have to understand I have to walk this balance because I don't want people to be depressed by the condition. I want them to also understand that, and I know I'm about to say it because I love metaphors and mythology works for me too. But you remember, there was one thing left in Pandora's box after everything fled. And sometimes that's the only thing that motivates us for tomorrow. But it's a big motivating factor. There was one thing, pirate. What was the one thing left in Pandora's box after everything fled? Let me see how good my pirate is. Right. I'm looking for the beauty. I'm looking for the beauty in any shape, fashion, for that moves us forward. I am engaged constantly. That's it. I know you are. I know you are. But sometimes it does. Sometimes maybe I got to use this space also to not just teach and educate on the oppression we're facing, but also to talk about the hope and the wherewithal, the fortification that we have inside. I thought you were going the Franz Fabian route. Actually, no, I'm talking about Pandora's box. We get to Wretch of the Earth. Look, I'm in uplift mode right now. Leave me alone, by Franz. But we get to the point, or I could have went Man's Search for Meaning. Could have went that way too, but I chose this way because I got. How many people can have a conversation? We can throw Pandora's box in, and be relevant. Come on now, keep up. But we also have to go that way and realize, right? We are the people we've always been waiting on. Your knowledge is astounding and very interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Um, we have to be those people. We have to lift each other up. We have to we have to sometimes focus on us and our joy. Like I said, um, another reference, The Matrix. Even though they were fighting for their very lives and their existence, they still found a way to celebrate who they were. Cause man, I'm telling you, I wanted to be. I remember watching them dance, watching them dance in Zion. I was like, I just want to go to Zion. Can I go to Zion? Do I have to? I want to be. I just want to dance all sensual and happy like that, and sensual. And by sensual, I mean sexy. Yeah, that scene of them dancing reminded me of the joy that even in the midst of oppression that we are fighting for. Hope is fragile, protected, but spread so very thin. But you know, the thing is, it's stronger than you all think. It's really not fragile because it survived. Just think, hope. Yeah, I'm going back to Pandora's box. Hope was in a box with every vile thing that existed in the world was let out, and it survived. So it wasn't crushed. It didn't stop being hope either. It did not change. It did not morph into something differently. It stayed the same because in the face of all those things, they couldn't crush hope. They couldn't extinguish it. Hope is not frail, my friend. I know a lot of people have taught us that, but hope is not frail. Hope is not frail, and it will. And it allows us to draw strength from it, as much strength as you need. It's always there. And I realized something else. I was looking at the feed on my YouTube, and I realized why it's the way it is on YouTube. It's smaller because I didn't enlarge this screen like I usually do. But I still like it. I still like it. So that was my pep talk for the night. In the face of all this, in the face of the ignorance, in the face of the maliciousness, and all that, understand we stand on that border of righteousness. And I'm not talking about a religious righteousness, I'm talking about a righteousness of oppression is wrong. Oppression is wrong. To oppress somebody and for your own benefit is wrong. There's no ifs, ands, buts, gray spaces. It's black and white. There are some things in the world that are just black and white. It is black and white. Either you stand on the wrong side of history or you stand on the right side of history. And we just need to understand we need to not just stand on the right side of history. We need to get in a, what are those trucks called? What are those things called when you put down gravel? We put down um, gravel on the streets and it roll a steamroller. Is that close enough? I guess it. And we need to get in the steamroller of life and roll over the wrong side of history. It probably felt hopeless for my ancestors, but I'm here as an outcome of generational hope. Right. And that's a good way because we talk about generational curses and all this, but understand we didn't start at a curse. We didn't start at a curse. Sometimes I've realized we didn't start at a curse. We built great civilizations because we dared to dream and hope. We didn't build great civilizations out of a curse. We built them because we dared to dream. The thing about humanity that keeps me rooted is that I know that when we do rise above in Maslow's hierarchy of needs into self-actualization as a people, then I get to live my Star Trek dreams. Even though it wasn't perfect, it was still beyond Earth. And, we get to live our Star Trek dream. And we need to go out into the universe and fight with other people until we learn to get along with them and stop fighting with ourselves. It's all. I know. But we need to, we're not going to get there until we steamroll over those who are on the wrong side of history. And we have to realize the the method of fighting that the oppressor has given us to fight them with is not the solution. But it seems to me that people in general have faith and hope as it carries us to tomorrow. It's a difference. I'm gonna say this, Gracie. There's a difference in believing and using hope as a motivation and energy factor than it is to depend on hope alone to fight for you. It's like the Energizer Bunny keeps going because it has batteries, right? Hope is not the Energizer Bunny, it is the battery. The drum playing must come from the drummer. We must use hope as our energy source so we don't get depressed, so we don't give up. But we can't depend on hope in and of itself to be the fighter. Hope is just the energy source that we use to do the things that we need to do. We have to couple that with an understanding that we must fight. And that's my thing. I don't want people to think I'm using hope in the way that other people use it as like, oh, we just hope things get better and they miraculously get better. No, we have to hope things get better and we have to make them better. We have to make them better. Hope allows us to know what is possible. Our work makes it a reality. If we're not willing to work for it, then that's like thoughts and prayers with school shootings. Yeah, that's easy. Believing in hope is easy. Believing in hope is easy. There's a lot of people. You go to the casino and you hope. I hope I hit the sevens tonight. That doesn't make it anywhere near possibility. I hope I have I hope my relationship turns out well. Are you putting in any work to make it turn out well? Because hoping is not enough. See, we have perverted the idea of hope into all these lesser things that it's not the same as when I talk about it. Thoughts and prayers just piss me off. Yeah. So, yep. Don't forget, this is the Cash App, and I am hoping I would hope y'all was hit it up to help me with some of the expenses of that we get into of those who have me home. And people be like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and I'm not putting anybody on blast, but thank you for hoping. I feel that. Thank you for hoping. Um, I figured I grew up in a time where we could spend $120 on shoes, but $5, $10 on people that are homeless is a bridge too far. I know, but like I say, I don't depend on hope. I'm asking you all if you all would commit and and don't. I appreciate the gifts and everything on that, but we can get more out of those gifts if we sent them directly. I would definitely appreciate that. Was great because Sherlock Holmes, even if he wasn't on the case, he knew his calling. I was thinking, I just read Arthur, Sir Arthur. Well, you didn't say Sir, but when I read the name, I was like, he's about to talk about Sherlock Holmes, and then I get to the next part, and sure enough, uh, one of the earliest description of modern psychological understanding. Yeah, because Sherlock was also compulsive, obsessive compulsive. And if you, I don't know if you saw the Sherlock Holmes with Benjamin Cumberbatch. Is that his name? Not Benjamin. Is it Benjamin? Yeah, played Doctor Strange. I like that version of Sherlock Holmes because he was rooted in his psychology. I liked his sister too. There's a new Sherlock Holmes out called Sherlock Holmes' Daughter. I haven't seen it yet, but it's going to be hard to follow up. Thank you. Thank you, Rain. I appreciate it. You all look you're consistent. I do appreciate that. Um, and like I said, we also coming up next month. Of course, we're gonna do the meal for those who have to be homeless. The day before I sleep. Yeah, I have to do it on July the 3rd, because on July the 4th, I usually rest on July the 4th because my people were enslaved and all they wanted was some rest that day. And my father's birthday is also on July the 4th, and I rest for him too. So I usually rest. So that means I usually have to do the meal either before the 4th or the day after. I'm thinking this year I'm gonna do it before the 4th. We got the meal for those who come to be homeless. We're going to. We still got school. We I don't know. Um, I really want to get to the point where tutoring doesn't become necessary on this level, but it seems like I'm just getting more students, not fewer students. And I forgot how expensive school supplies were, but we're working on it. Benedict, thank you, Benedict Cumberbatch. Yes, Benedict, come to Des Moines the third to protest Trump being here. Yeah, yeah. Rain trying to get me on a watch list. You know, the last time I showed up at a place where Trump was, I almost got arrested, and I wasn't even. We went to Tulsa. You all remember he went to Tulsa and on the campaign trail, and he went to Tulsa, and we went to Tulsa, and also people purchased a lot of seats, and so he didn't have a place. Yeah, but we went back. I went back to Tulsa after that also when he did show up. Yeah, and they had this when that's when this guy named Topher Town Music. He was telling me, I bet you won't pull up. I bet you won't pull up. He wouldn't come out. He wouldn't come out of the little rally. I was like, I'm outside. I'm outside. I made videos outside the rally. He was nowhere to be found. I see people made a video about that, and I was like, I've been doing that. I've been pulling up at places people say they are at Trump rallies, and nobody would come outside. Kept the police. They did call the police on me though. They said that was I threatening people. I was like, I'm just making TikTok videos. Oh, I'm super annoyed. He's giving a speech at the same time as the biggest parade in town that I'm in. Yeah. I, okay, Google. How far is the Iowa from me?
If you drive, Iowa is 257 miles away.
257 miles? Hey, y'all have Amtrak? Rain, you have Amtrak? I like taking Amtrak. No Amtrak. What's the nearest Amtrak to you? I'm gonna have to look up the nearest Amtrak location. I don't like buses. I told you I had a bad experience on a bus in college, and I like nah. But that's good. That's different because I don't mind charter buses. I just don't like Greyhound and stuff like that. But if it's a charter bus and we're going somewhere as a group, that's fine. Y'all know what time it is. Can y'all hear it? They won't recommend my live, but they show me this little puzzle. I'll come pick you up. I mean, I'm telling you, you don't have to come all the way here. I'm just saying that's a lot. I'm sure I can get close. Sure I can get close. Amtrak, Amtrak. We're gonna have to look up. I know Amtrak comes to your state. I know Amtrak comes to your state somewhere. I'm gonna tell you, that's how a lot of y'all. If y'all want to meet me, just tell me you got an Amtrak in your city. I know Chicago does. I tell you, I know Chicago does. But don't have me show up in your city, right? And you don't realize it's your responsibility to no, I can take I take Lyft or Uber. Take Lyft now. I gotta get a you got I had to I had to restrict my Uber usage after they supported Trump. But all right, let's see. Let's see. Um okay, that's the nearest. How far is that? About that's closer than all the way. Hold on. Hold on. Let me show you what I mean. Look at it. I'm gonna expand. I just expanded my screen. Now look at it on YouTube and tell me how it looks. Look at it on YouTube now. I just expanded it. I don't know. I don't think it changed it here. It just changes it on my OPS because my OPS is my screen. 44 minutes? Yeah, I can do that. I can I can definitely do that. Still don't know. That would be a good road trip. That'd be a good road trip. I don't want to get arrested. I don't know if I want to get arrested in Iowa though. The five orange pips and the yellow face are two of my favorite shorts. All right, all right. So yeah, it looks. It's it's still. I don't know. Yeah, those wavy lines. But you see how it did. You see how it looks bigger as far as the presentation. I just have to remember to expand it. I could be so busy talking, I'll be forgetting to look over and see how it looks on OBS. But I'm getting better with OBS. I told you all, I'm getting better with it. I just, you know, I just want to, and I'm really just focusing on YouTube because it is 23:07. Oh, what's up, GCPR? He can't stand my city. I love your city. I told you, my nephew lives there. I love your city. All right, let me sign out of GCPR. All right. What's up, GCPR? It's your guy, TNathan. It is Tuesday night, and I am about to get out of here. You all have a great night, or great morning. It's morning in Europe. I forgot. Y'all have a great morning, and I will see you all, or y'all can tune in. And I got the question. Oh, I got the comments I asked about. I got some emails on them. I will be going through them and I will be getting back with you all. I did get them. I just wanted you all to know the ones of you all who sent me the emails. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. All right. Peace out. All right, Olivia. Miss, since you're keeping time of how long it takes me to sign in and out, it's sign in and out. Okay. Fun part for a moment. 28 years later. Anybody a zombie? Anybody like zombie movies except me? Well, as you know, 28 years later is out. 28 years later is out. So do we need to watch the first two before we watch the third one? Do we everybody is 28 days 28 days 28 days, 28 weeks, and now we get 28 years. I want to see 28 years later. And I know it's just the idea. Those are some of my favorite zombie movies. I think that's one outside The Walking Dead. That was some of my favorite the movies. Zombie movies irritate me because if you lock up, they eventually will start. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still gonna. I got to figure out what's around 28 years later. I like that universe. You all remember the Korean zombie movies we watched on those were some of my favorite too. Those are some those were hot. Those were good. The storyline was immaculate. It was good. Every time I go to someone's live, I get kicked out. I don't know if it's TikTok or what. Well, Jones, you know you never get kicked out here. You don't get kicked out here. I still want to see Sinners. You haven't seen Sinners yet, Goddess? Oh, you say Trump hates Chicago. I was like, I love Chicago, except when it's cold or hot. I don't mind. I don't mind heat. It's strange because as a black person, I love sunlight. I do not mind sunlight, but I don't like I don't like when the street is bubbling. I got to draw the line somewhere. When I said I was back, I got kicked out. I came right back. Yeah, it's TikTok. TikTok is not safe. Not seeing sinners is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. I'm sure it is. I think it's chapter 8, section WIC. It gets hot in Northern California, but nothing compares to Mississippi. I'm gonna tell you. I think it's because I was used to the heat in Mississippi. When you go somewhere and they have more than one, two seasons, hot and wet. Once you go somewhere that has more than two seasons and they have a fall, a spring, and a winter, it's disproportionately hot because you got used to cooler temperatures for longer periods of time. In Mississippi, it's like, but Mississippi had I like the heat in Mississippi. It wasn't too overpowering. As far as humidity, it was humid, but it was comfortable. No, I went to Arizona. Man, it would be the same temperature, but that heat was a different type of heat. It's like that's the type of heat where you start seeing the heat monkeys on the sand. Yeah, I know if I'm somewhere and I see heat monkeys, it's too hot. It is too hot. But then again, I can't go anywhere and be too cold. I can't imagine what it would be like to be stationed in Antarctica. No, yeah, no. It can reach 110 here. But you also understand, I have to also say, I'll be listening to people talk about how hot it is somewhere else. I'll be like, but I'm not going to live. I'm fortunate. I'm not living outside there. It's like we got air conditioning. We good. In Chicago, though, your air conditioner be like, hey, what you doing? I'm not designed to do all this every day. You better better turn me down. Yeah, Arizona. But Arizona is I'm a type person. It's like Mississippi. For me, if I could take all the races out of Mississippi, I would stay in Mississippi. I love the way it looks. Just driving just driving through Mississippi, it is such a beautiful place. It is beautiful from the Gulf Coast. As long as I don't go in the water, um, all the way up driving through the forest areas, it's beautiful. But I would have to make it so I never see cotton growing in a field, and I never run into a racist unless I can bury him in the field that used to grow the cotton. Yeah, we live in the AC here in Vegas. What's up, Vicky? It's beautiful, but it ain't. It's a certain type. It's human, but not superhuman. I don't know. I can't explain it because I can go next door into like New Orleans at the same period of time, and the humidity in New Orleans probably because we're below sea level in a bowl, and the swamp is on the side of it, so it's like But New Orleans can be oppressively humid. New Orleans, literally, you like swimming when you're walking down Canal Street. The sun out here cooking us like we rotisserie chickens, but at least we seasoned. Can In Chicago, we have four seasons: summer, fall, winter, blizzard. Right. And I do not come to Chicago during the winter. I was telling people, I know, say, if y'all die, And number one, I don't like going to funerals anyway. So it's probably I'm not probably gonna come to your funeral. Now you have a memorial session and your dead body's not laying out there. I might come. I might come to a memorial where we can talk about you and hang out. But I'm not coming where your dead. If you lay a dead body out in state with me, I'm probably not coming to your funeral. Yep, I'm not going to show up. I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up. So take that how you want to. But if I come there and there's a casket and there's a body, I'm like, yep, I'm not coming. I'm not. I'll come to you. I'll come to the repast. I'll come to hang out afterwards. But I'm not. I don't do. And it's not even fear. It's just morbid to me. It's like, yeah, it's morbid. I can't go into it more than that because it's not like I don't uh, dead bodies are the problem. But no, I think our morbid fascination with dead people at funerals is strange to me. What if the casket? What if it's a casket with nobody? The idea, yeah, the repast. Gracie, you don't know what a repast is? Oh, you're not. Y'all not from the South. I forgot. What do y'all call it? What do they call it, Reese? What is it called? When you go to the people's house and you eat after the funeral, it's a repast. It's a repast. You all call it something else. I call it the repast. I need some help. It's a repast here too. My parents are from the country. Yeah, we call it a repast. I'm country. Funeral lunch. If you call it a funeral lunch, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. If funeral is anywhere in it, just don't invite me. I told you I will come to a memorial service. I will come to the repast. I will come if you all just say, "Hey, we're going to hang out and reminisce." I'm there. But if you bring out the dead body, I'm not coming. I call it a repast, or some people may call it the celebration of life. That's why I love New Orleans. That's why I love Second Line. Like, yeah, we have food to share afterwards. Right, right. No wake. Isn't the body at the wake? Gracie, isn't the body at the wake too? Isn't the wake the day before the funeral? And you can come see. No, I'm not coming to your wake either. I'm not coming if there is an embalmed or a dead body in a casket and people are. No, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. I'm like, am I really in here with a dead body that I'm not trying to hide? I'm not trying to hide this body. Y'all have dressed it up, put make. No, that's morbid to me. It is our morbid fascination with decayed body. No, the person is not there. That's why I tell people I want to be just cremate me, throw my ashes out, let some birds or whatever is going to eat them, or throw them in the water, let some fish eat. Just return me back to where I came from and move on, and then go have a party. As a matter of fact, you can just take me to the cremorium, tell them, hey, he wants to be cremated, and you don't even have to put him in the thing. Just sweep him up and throw him outside when you're all finished. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I am not fascinated. I am not here. I am not here. I have vacated the housing unit. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to with it, except the weird things like embalm me and put me in the ground. No, no. Mm-mm. Used to watch The Mortician on HBO. I used to watch. Is it like y'all remember a show I really liked? It was called 6 Feet Under. Anybody used to watch 6 Feet Under? Is a mortician? The mortician is that documentary, isn't it? About the mortician that was not cremating the people he was supposed to cremate. Is that the one that's on? Uh-uh. Dun 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 dun. Hold tight. Dun 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 dun. Mm, don't wait. Hold on. I 6 feet under was so satirically hilarious. The mortician. Hold on.
trust is foundational for funeral directors.
This probably gonna get me in trouble.
The unfortunate reality is, like any other occupation, there are some bad apples.
Is this it?
I don't put any value in anybody after they're gone and dead, as they shouldn't when I'm gone and dead. Love them when they're here. Period.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't show too much of it because YouTube gets bent out of shape when I show copyrighted material. Yeah. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah. How long is an episode? I got 3 episodes. I can buy 3 episodes. Should I buy the 3 episodes? David takes over his family moratorium. A local funeral director makes shocking allegations about the crematorium. Oh yeah. You've never watched it? P. Jones, did you get your Twitch account yet? I don't see you in my Twitch stream when we be playing movies. Don't buy them. I can stream them for y'all. Oh, that's all right. I get the whole season for $4.99. Thank you, Vicky, for subscribing. I get the whole series for $4.99. And then I'll be like, you know me, I'll be wanting to watch something at 2 o'clock in the morning. Listen, P. Jones, I need you to go to my beacon link, and I need you to hit on my beacon link, hit the Twitter link, and download Twitter. You share too much of my content to be missing so much of my content on Twitter. On Twitch, not Twitter, Twitch. Yeah, we have movie nights, we hang out. Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, let me know if you can't do it. Text me that I'll send you a link. Yeah, download Twitch, and then what's my Twitch name, y'all? Is it the_Savage Lokius? Yeah. Then go look for the_Savage Lokius. Right. And then you text me, you DM me, and let me know if you got it. But yeah. And say off to bed. Good night, family and GCBR. GCBR is over. All right, Jay, get some rest. You have a good one. Thank you. Yeah, I'm adding. How many seasons? It's only the first. It's only 3, right? Yeah. I only have 3 episodes. I have 3 episodes. Is that all of it, or is it? Oh, they come out every 7 days. So the next episode should be out today. No, it should have came out Sunday, right? What's today? The 24th. Is it only 3? Is it? That's all 3. Oh, that's all 3 of them. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch it. It was a limited series. Okay, I'm gonna watch it. Y'all want to watch it? To y'all, anybody else? I told you. If you need it, I will DM you the link to it. Jay, DM. Yeah, go ahead and send them the link, Jay. Thank you. Send them the link, Jay. Send them the link. Send them the link. All right, you all. Y'all know it. We got to get out of here. We got I have I have World War III to keep up with. I know I'm following you on Twitter or X, but yeah, and Goddess, you're also on Twitch, right? Yeah, you're on Twitch. So we'll get something in this week. Like I say, soon as 28 weeks later, I've ordered 28 weeks later. We're gonna watch 28 weeks later. Um, Anything else you all want to see? Let me know. Y'all know how to text me. But I'm about to get out of here. You all have a good one. First, hey, YouTube. See you tomorrow.